Hello, beautiful people, and this is Let's Talk the Talk, the show where conversations empower, inspire, and connect. I'm Bintu, and today we are hosting Mr. Abraham Sheriff, founder and owner of the Teens Portrait Foundation. His work focuses on creating space for young people to express themselves through portrait and spoken word, helping them discover confidence in their voices and strength in their ideas. Mr. Sheriff, welcome to Let's Talk the Talk.
Thank you so much, Bintu Asatu Konen, for having me on this unique platform. Over the last few weeks, I've been monitoring this platform, and you've had a whole lot of amazing guests. So to follow in that direction makes me so much excited. And I'm also reminded by a quote from Chinua Achebe, the Nigerian writer. Many times people call him Chinua Achebe. And he said, in paraphrase, a man who invites his kingmen to a feast does not do so to redeem them from starving. They all have foods in their own house, of course, but they do it because it is good for, kingsmen to gather. So I'm very happy to be here to share this space with you.
What's up, Mr. Sheriff? Before we talk about the Teens Portrait Foundation, I would like for our viewers to know who is Mr. Abraham Sheriff beyond the title founder.
Oh, wow. Well, I'm not too good about talking about myself, but for the sake of the conversation, again, I'm Abraham Soko Sheriff. I am the founder and chief executive officer of Liberia's premier literary platform for teenagers, the Teens Portrait Foundation. I'm also a teen educator, a Liberian storyteller as well. Thank you.
Mr. Sheriff, being the founder and owner of the Teens Portrait Foundation, can you tell us your early relationship with poetry?
Yeah, I would like to say, I would prefer with literature because, you cannot talk about poetry without discussing literature as a whole. So it dates back to when I was growing up as a kid, as a young boy coming up. And my dad specifically, he was one person who, always on my back. And I can remember one point in time, because when I was coming up, I was so passionate about football. I wanted to play the game. Every time I on the field, right after I come from school, definitely I take to the field. So on this day, he goes to work, but on this day, he spent his time home. So he invited me over and then he said, Abi, you have to sit here and let's talk. So normally our conversation will be about, his life, how he met my mother and, his family, who were his parents in general. These are the kind of conversation we used to have. But for me, I wasn't taking it in because I wanted to get on the field. I wanted to go and do my different thing. Yeah, like what we can say our Liberian balance. So that was me. But as time goes back, and this was something he did, consistently. Every time my father spent time home, just know that I would be in that living room. We'll be talking about story. We'll be explaining the war and everything to me. So from that identical, circumstances, I started to develop my own passion for literature, for storytelling, because I found the story not just amazing or amusing, but I also learned something that was very informative. So that was how, I got close to storytelling. And then I wanted to tell my own story. Besides my father and I became very passionate about storytelling. Every time out there, when my friends and I assemble, I want to tell them something. Because storytelling is not just something, that is amusing. It is also very informative. So there are certain information I want to pass on. And the only way that I feel that I would do that easily is through storytelling. So that was how this whole thing about my relationship with poetry, with drama, with prose, this is how it started. It started from my father back in the days when I was growing up.
That's so amazing. So let's say looking back on your relationship with your dad and you getting involved with literature. So was there a moment that shaped your decision to get the young people involved?
Yeah, the decision to get young people involved, specifically forming the Teens Portrait Foundation, started when I just graduated from high school. So, when I was launching this book, The Heart of a Stranger in the Marketplace, that I wrote in high school, but was later launched in 2018 after I graduated, I I passed through a whole lot of things. In Liberia, you can have the widest dream. If you do not have the resources to back them up, just know that you are on your own. So that was me, So to launch that identical book, I went through a whole lot of things. I had to get the resources first, to get in touch with the right people. It was a long and enduring process. So I reached out to some of my friends, and then I explained the idea about the manuscript I had, and then they were very supportive. We went to the various high schools. We were able to lobby to get resources so that we can, launch this identical book. But the thing is, what I went through, if you ask me today, I don't want any young person to actually face that identical situation, because they might not have the level of persistence or that level of consistency, that I have back there to have this book launched. Sometimes, these are the reasons why you find out at the end of the day, most of the manuscripts, those who write the books, the young people that are coming up, most of their manuscripts end up in the trash or in the dustbin. The reason is very simple, because that process of launching, doing many copy, the production process and everything is so difficult, especially when you are not from a wealthy family. So we established the Teens Poetry Foundation to help young people that might encounter similar fate I had, back then in the days. So I started basically in my community, because to establish the Teens Poetry Foundation, you have to have some resources also, because everything is is money related. You cannot escape that. So the very first thing I did, I started right within my community where I live currently. I was doing assignment, all of the literature assignment for the young people. It was not just my yard where I live, but the entire community. Sometimes people with literature assignment would call me, and then I would be able to reach there to help. Some of the kids, they were doing their own thing. Some of them were writing articles and some of these things, and they needed my input. So normally I would make myself available. So I said to myself on this day, but with all of these services we are rendering, what can we do? Formally, because once we establish an institution to reach out, to get all of those young people, we might have get in touch with the right people, the editors, the producer, and all of these people to help the case. So that was how the idea of the Teens Poetry Foundation started. But I couldn't outrightly, fund the organization. I needed also resources. So I had an opportunity to teach at a school in Bannersville. There where this identical thing started. So the little resources I was getting from the school as my salary, I used it also to establish the foundation and to chip in with some of the things that needed to be done at the time.
Okay, so the whole sitting with your dad, lecturing, it encouraged you to, let's say, build the Teens Poetry Foundation.
Sure.
So you were inspired by your dad.
Yeah, of course.
What did you observe when it comes to poetry and everything you observe in the lives of young people, so really get them involved?
So it was kind of difficult, because poetry, whether spoken word, written word, or literature in general, whether drama or prose, what have you, is not something that many young people are involved with. Teenagers at that range. But if you go back in the days, you will understand that many of the famous writers today we know in Liberia, they started when they were very young. Some of them, they were teenagers, some of them in their early 20s. Like, for example, Weton Sangaolo started to write when he was a teenager. And then he went to the Cotton College, which we now call Cotton University. And then that was when he published his first article in the Cotton Review, the magazine they were producing regularly at the time. So you see, and Weton Sangaolo he was 22 years old. I take you back to also Batam Mo, the writer who wrote Mother in the Cassava Patch. Patty Mo started writing at a very young age, and he published his first book called Gola Boy in America at the age of 21. So then we go back to Madam Patricia Jebley Wesley. She's also a Liberian writer. She started writing when she was between the ages of 13 to 14. So you see, that age range has always been, the foundation for young people in Liberia. So when the idea about establishing Teens Poetry Foundation came about, I was like, we have so many poetry institutions. We have so many people involved with literary activity as a whole. But then I wasn't seeing there were young people who were getting involved deeply. I mean, teenagers at that. So I said to myself, I think we can create a platform for them, because myself, when I did my own publication, I was 18 years old. So I said, I mean, we have to get these people involved. If the legs of Batimo, the legs of Madam Patricia Jeble Wesley, the legs of Weto Sangaolo, all of these great Liberian writers, if they started at this identical age, I mean, we have to get more young people at that level too, so that they can be able to protect the future of Liberian literature tomorrow. So the issue of bridging that identical gap, it has been challenging, but we have been consistent. We have been very persistent in doing this. So this is where we are today.
Okay, so talking about consistency, you being consistent when it comes to the Teens Portrait Foundation, what are some challenges you have faced in sustaining the foundation?
It's been so difficult because Teens Portrait Foundation, was funded by just ordinary Liberians, young people. They are now from the elite class. Yeah. So some of them, the people that funded Teens Portrait Foundation, like people who have basic skills in reading and writing, and they were very good. And some of them, but you're talking about a profession or job that they had at that time, some of them were money changers, and some of them were just the ordinary Liberian high school teachers and all of these things. So yeah, so the challenging aspect of that, I'm talking about finance. So it's been very difficult, but we've been able to mobilize our little resources so that I can go around now. Because yeah, of course the dream has to live on. So that has been us. This is what we've been involved with. Initially, to get the young people, to buy the idea, to sell the idea to the young people, it was difficult. Everyone we recruited, I started that from Yoruba Johnson Foundation, the school where I was, teaching at the time. So most of the people, literature is taught in school, but to get the kids to really, get involved, the accuracy of to practicalize it, it has not always been like that. And I'm not the people in the high school, the people in the at the university, they're doing tremendous job. They're doing a great job, kudos to them. But I just feel that we have to do more. We have to do more, because if at those early ages, when the kids start to create that passion for literature, many of them are going to get involved without anybody telling them. But it was difficult for us. Like sometimes, most of the things that we did, like we used to get the share, we print the share, we encourage the student to come, we go to their houses, we meet. Man, I want your son to join the Teens Portrait Foundation. What do you call portrait? What do you call portrait? So you have, it was so challenging. So difficult. I mean, we talk about finance all of the time, but you see this, I'm telling you, to get those kids, except for a few people who actually believe at the time, who actually, bought the dream earlier, but it was difficult. Mobilizing them at the time, at the very early stage, and the finance has always been an issue, but we are still there.
So, Mr. Sheriff, you have talked about your challenges and everything in between. So, speaking of achievements, what have been some achievements that have given you the greatest sense of fulfillment so far, being the founder of the Teens Portrait Foundation?
Well, if you ask some of the people we've worked with at Teens Portrait Foundation, their definition of achievement might be different. But for me, I will say, getting more people joining the foundation without even us reaching them. I mean, what started in the backyard has grown to the extent that people are voluntarily coming over to join the Teens Portrait Foundation. For me, this brings me a deeper fulfillment, satisfaction, and I'm just so happy. I don't even know how to explain it, because we used to walk to people's houses. It's not the fame. People know Teens Portrait, people know Soko, people know Te, and all of the other guys. No, that's not it for me. Personally, it's the ideas of Teens Portrait being bought by people across Liberia. For me, I mean, this is an achievement that when we started this, I wasn't even thinking in that direction. Yeah, but I'm so excited. Thanks to the Liberian people, you guys are our rock. I mean, it's very, very solid one. So shout out to you. Thank you so much. for buying this idea, and we urge you to keep on supporting this dream, because we have a whole lot, coming up for you this year.
We are talking about poetry. So let's come to the part of the impact and relevance when it comes to poetry. Many young people, let's say not just young people, but many people underestimate poetry in today's fast digital space, right? Like, why does poetry still matter in this area?
Well, if you ask the very best we have in Liberia about the art poetry, they will tell you that poetry is still relevant because it is a channel of communication that will easily be used for advocacy purpose. Sometimes, like most of the people we work with at Teens Poetry Foundation, they have their own style, and they have their own way of writing. So some people will, most of them, I've seen many of them, like the recent work we did, right? Abraham Sheriff, she promo about an advocacy, like unveiling or unearthing most of the things that young people go through in Liberia. So poetry is still relevant because it speaks truth to power. Number one, it protects the future of Liberia. You understand? Through our act. Maybe somebody may come to Liberia and they may go back home, they write a whole lot of poems, criticizing the image of Liberia, even diluting it, going as far as diluting the things that are not there. And they say, so if somebody is going to respond, a counter narrative, it will actually be through a spoken word, poem. And also, the issue of creative writing is something that should be ever present in our society. Creative writing has a lot to offer Liberia, I believe. And if the government of Liberia can actually invest in this, it's going to be something that is going to do well for not just the individual, but the country as a whole. Places like Nigeria, the people make billions of dollars from creative writing. So I believe that if we can invest in this, in poetry, in prose, in drama, I think we will be heading for a far better future as Liberians. And let me just chip in with this quickly. There was a guy from Great Britain, the Polish-British writer. His name is Joseph Conrad. When Joseph Conrad came to Africa, specifically, I think it's Angola. Yeah, when he came to Africa, he saw a whole lot of things. He saw traditions. He saw the way of life of the people. But then after his visit, when he went back, he wrote a book called Heart of Darkness. And in that identical story, he said a whole lot of things about Africans. He said Africans were savages. And, they would eat human. Probably when he came on the scene, he saw people killing animals to eat. So he said people were eating human beings. And, he said we're on culture. We have no tradition. And, in that book, people bought that identical book all over the world and they read. So now, when they read that identical book, the image of Africa, those that have not been there, they were very scared. Oh, damn it, what are they be doing that? So, how you be eating human beings, all the kinds of things. So, that was the kind of image he portrayed. That was the kind of image he portrayed for Africa at the time. So, Chinua Achebe in 1958, when he wrote Things Fall Apart, that identical book, many people are not aware, but Things Fall Apart was when Achebe wrote that identical book, or Chinua Achebe, like the Nigerian would say, he was actually trying to counter what was said by Joseph Conrad in his own work. So Chinua Achebe, Things Fall Apart, was a counter narrative novel, right? He wrote an identical book specifically to respond to Joseph Conrad. So in that identical book, African had tradition in Things Fall Apart. So he was simply trying to tell the Western or those that read that first book, because Joseph Conrad published that book in 1899, and Things Fall Apart were published in 1958. So when he wrote that identical book, he was trying to respond to some of the things that were said back there. And then most of the people who read, they knew that what the people were doing, they had their culture, their way of life, the style, which was acceptable. And then they were able to somehow erase the doubt of other people. So people don't just write, but I mean, we write specifically, and to tell a story. And Achebe was telling the African story with Congo and the legs of the other people.
Okay, so in Teens Poetry Foundation, you guys are telling a story. So how does the foundation shape young people beyond writing? Are you seeing growth in leadership, confidence, or critical thinking?
Yes. If I tell you now, most of the people that run Teens Poetry Foundation, I mean, on a daily basis, are those that we recruited a few years back.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's beyond just spoken word poetry. It's beyond just literature. Um, spoken word poetry helps with public speaking. You understand? So it's not just to read the poem or to write the poem. Many of them, you give them microphone at the very high schools, graduation program. They dominated most of the event they had. They were always holding the microphone because these are things we practice on a daily basis. If we give a kid from Teens Project Foundation a microphone, he's not shy, and he's not afraid of his audience because these are things that we do every Saturdays, and during our practice session. So just beyond the portrait thing, and we also give tax to people. And you understand, we give tax to people, we make people to have some initiative. Like, I'll tell you a story when we're doing our drama. That identical, the theater program that you attended, that identical story or everything, we just, as executive, as a team, we did the script and we gave it to them. They took on that initiative, to perform that identical work. So it's not just related to the poetry aspect of what we do. It goes far beyond that.
Okay, still speaking of leadership, Mr. Sheriff, what has this journey taught you about responsibility and leadership?
A whole lot. A whole lot, yes. This identical initiative has made me to know many things about myself I didn't know in the past. Yeah, working with young people across, from the surface, or those from afar, they will say, oh, that's something he's been doing throughout his lives. I know we had the issue with the NOAA's Student Council government, but I'm telling you, it taught me to be responsible, because most of the people that you are nurturing, most of the people that you are bringing up, look up to you. So you have to be an example. Every time, whether you are alone or whether you are in the public, you have to be on your best behavior. Yes, because you don't want, the repetition is very important. So when you are alone, whether you have people, you just have to be on your best behavior. It has taught me to live a life, that is responsive. It has taught me to live a life, that is dignified. And many times, even in my room, when I sit in my room, say I'm on my best behavior, because I know there are many people that don't just look up to me, but the work we do at Teens Project Foundation, and we are living on the margins, just blue of everything could be born. Yeah, so
have there been any moments where you question whether you should continue or just leave it?
Well, everyone has had this point in their life where they feel, they actually feel like they want to give up. But for us, I'm inspired every day by the amount of young people that show up on our practice ground. Every time I go for practice, for training on Saturday, the amount of young people I see every day, and these are the people that give me motivation to continue the work I'm doing. And you understand? So yeah, we've been there, especially in the early beginnings. And there are a point where we actually wanted to give up, but the young people that we work with, every time they show up, they leave their houses, their works, most of the things that they are doing, they leave everything back home, and then they show up for practice ground at the appropriate time. So for me, even if I want to give up, the everyday motivation is there. I have reason not to give up. So this is where we are.
This is where we are, and this is Mr. Abraham Soko Sheriff, founder and owner of the Teens Project Foundation. So, Mr. Sheriff, what advice will you give to young people who are hesitant to begin something meaningful?
Be respectful. Be consistent. Start.
Okay.
Start now.
Start now.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Sheriff, let me applaud you for everything you have done for the kids and young people in Liberia. So, if somebody is watching this video and they want to join the Teens Project Foundation, how can they reach out? What's the process?
So the Teens Project Foundation recruitment is ongoing as we speak, and it's going to end at the end of this month. Let me say the 27th specifically. That's when the recruitment process is going to end. So if you want to join the Teens Project Foundation, because over the years we received complaints that the institution is for teenagers and all of these things. So we've managed to create a platform also that accepts, people of all ages and, of all age group as well. So if you want to join the Teen Portrait Foundation, it's very easy. You can get on our page, our Facebook page. If you want to know the entire process, it's going to take us some time, but let me just give you a synopsis. So the very first thing is you have to pass through the peer mentorship program. That identical program is for people of all age groups. Anybody you have interest in literature and everything, you have to take advantage of the peer mentorship program. It's a certificate training program, and it runs for 3 months. So after that identical training, the essence of that identical program is to give you the basis. And, it's not only poetry related or prose related. We do drama, we dramatize play and all of these things also. So basically, if you have interest in the arts, whether theater arts, whether performing arts, and you take advantage of the peer mentorship program, which is a 3 months program, like I said. And then after that identical program, you have the opportunity to join the Teen Portrait Foundation, provided if you are within that age range. And if you have exceeded that identical age, we know the right people to connect you with so that you can follow your literary career. It might not be us specifically, but we are going to work with you. If you have interest in acting, we can link you with the Liberia Movie Union. If you have interest in poetry and your age is satisfying, you can also join the Teen Portrait Foundation, and we can also help you get connected with many writers. So it's not like after the peer mentorship program, which is a pathway to the Teen Portrait Foundation, that after that identical program, we are going to leave you. No, we are not going to leave you. You are going to be with us. If you have a project, we are going to work with you to launch that identical project. Whether it's a book you want to launch, we connect you with the right editors, the publishers, and all of these people, because we have the network, and then we'll work with you to have your work out there or to enhance your literary prospect.
Just check Teen Portrait Foundation out on Facebook.
Yeah, you can check the Teen Portrait Foundation page, and then there's a link we attach there. Just hit that link, and then we'll confirm your request to the WhatsApp group chat, where all of the information will be given to you. And if you want to have an interpersonal, conversation, we'll make ourselves available. Not me specifically, but we are our team, and then the other people. If you need be for us to interact, fine, I'm available.
So, Mr. Sheriff, we have a tradition here with every guest. Before you leave, we ask you to leave us with 3 words. 3 words that can inspire us at Let's Talk the Talk, and 3 words that can inspire young people out there. Not just young people, but whoever that will come across this video. So what are your 3 words to everyone who will come across this video?
Professionalism, dedication, and respect.
Okay, so why you choose those 3 words?
Because I have literally lived by these 3 words. When I first encountered the president of the Liberia Association of Writers, the late Mr. Samuel Dwyer, people are now always on there in there. Some people can be moody at times.
Yeah.
So you might meet the side of Soko Sheriff that you might meet. It doesn't portray that I'm that kind of person. Maybe you meet me in a very angry mood. I'm not listening. I'm not paying attention. So you get angry. You say that man like this. No, I understand. So, but when you are a respectful person, you are going to exercise restraint to get to where you want to be. So you have to be respectful. Everything you do, you have to uphold respect for those that you are with, those that you are working with, those that you want to start that identical initiative with. You have to give them the full respect. They are working with you, and but they're not working for you. And I talk about also dedication, right? So that's another thing too. You have to be dedicated to. If you are not dedicated, you will never finish or you will never start what you want to do. So you have to. It's a matter of must. There is no shortcut to that. Yeah.
So you have to be dedicated, like Mr. Sheriff said. So Mr. Sheriff, at about this time, I want to say thank you for joining us and thank you for being here. Your work speaks, and we look forward to seeing more from the Teen Portrait Foundation family. And we hope and pray that you will continue. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for the work you are doing to nurture creativity and empower young voices in Liberia. Thanks to the Team Portrait Foundation, we appreciate all of you. We see your work and we are so happy for whatever you guys are doing out there. Thank you so much. To our viewers, thank you for being part of today's conversation. This has been Let's Talk the Talk, show where conversations empower, inspire, and connect. Thank you.